Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. My name's Abby. If you're new, welcome. Today I'm going to be doing an Alaska cage makeover. So in case you don't know, in the UK the minimum hamster cage size is 80 centimetres by 50 centimetres, and the Alaska cage is the cheapest cage that you can get, which meets those recommendations. The reason why I wanted to do this video today is because when I got the Alaska cage, I was looking on YouTube for different hamster cage setups and there wasn't any really up-to-date Alaska cage videos, but the majority of hamster YouTubers tend to have a Petal cage or the Living World Eco Habitat or similar DIY cages which look similar to those, but unfortunately I don't have the space or the resources to build one of those or have one of those. So without further ado, let's just get into it. But this cage right at the bottom, that is Peach's cage, and then up at the top that is Petal's cage. So they are both in Alaska cages, and then it's on this rack which is just from Amazon. This at the top you can see is Petal's cage. So the first thing I'm going to do is take out this hammock because she has chewed this strap at this side, and also I'm going to take out this little hanging bed. She will use this all the time but she's absolutely shredded it. Oh, she's coming to say hi. Hi. Hiya. So Petal lives in that cage at the top, and she is a very destructive hamster. Hamsters' teeth obviously grow for their entire lifetime, so hamsters really rely on chewing on things to wear down their teeth. And so the reason why I say that she's a destructive hamster simply is because Peach's is not as destructive. Peach will chew her food, she'll chew her chew toys, but she doesn't really chew like her bed. She doesn't chew the hammock, she doesn't chew the hanging bed, anything like that. From Petal's cage I have completely removed this. This is just gonna go straight in the bin. There's no need to keep this. It's completely destroyed, but I am going to repair this. So this is a really large hanging hammock, and the reason why I have this is because the Alaska cage is quite tall and hamsters aren't the best climbers. If you put them in a cage with bars, they likely will climb on the bars at some point. I've got this big hanging hammock, so obviously if they fall from climbing on the bars, it's not so far to come down, and it's a softer landing than falling all the way to the bottom. And as well, what you'll do is walk from the platform that comes with the Alaska cage all the way across this onto the bendy bridge thing that I have at the other side, and she just like walks across that to get across the cage. So I am keeping this. So what I'm going to do is I've got the pieces of it and I'm going to sew it back together. I don't know if she'll end up breaking it again. She hasn't chewed any of the other three sides at all, so it might live. I'm not sure. So I've just got a sewing kit here and I'm going to fix that. So I've finished sewing on this side. It's not the neatest of jobs, but I don't know if you can see. I've just put loads and loads and loads of stitches in to try and make it really strong, so it does feel strong. I'm just hoping that she won't chew it because she chewed that as soon as I put it in, and then I've had it in for about a month with that broken, and she hasn't chewed any of the others since then. So I'm hoping that now it's got a scent and she's used to it. Hopefully she won't chew it again, fingers crossed. Also, I'm going to be putting in some different chews and stuff, so hopefully that'll keep her busy and she won't go back to chewing this again. So what I'm going to do is take her out of the cage, and I actually have this travel carrier and I'm just going to put her in that while I put in some new chew toys, clean out her sand and put in some herbs and stuff. Anyway, you'll see what I'm doing, so I'm just going to get her and put her in here. So this is where Petal is, just in this carrier I've put her little coconut bed in there. I tried to move the coconut into that without waking her up because that's where she sleeps, but obviously moving her around so much she did wake up. Anyway, so I'm going to bring the cage down onto the floor here. So as you can see, I've brought the cage onto the floor. It shouldn't need a full clean out because I only do a full cage clean once a month. So the main thing that I'm going to do today is clean out the sand because she wheezes in that, and so that's really the bit that makes the cage stinky, and also try and clean out the bedding that's got the most poos in it. I'm going to wipe down this platform, and then I'm just going to jazz it up inside the cage by adding in some chews and adding in some herbs as well. The first thing I do is take off the water bottle so that doesn't spill everywhere, and then around the cage there are these little clips, so I take all of those off. Once I've got all these clips, I'll just put them to the side somewhere safe, and then I lift off the lid. So I'm now going to take out all of these toys and chews and things. Just a quick hack for anyone who has a freestanding wheel. If you struggle to keep it flat with all the bedding, I add in a piece of cardboard underneath. You could add in a piece of wood as well, but that just gives it a base to stand on, so then when they're running on it, it doesn't topple over or anything like that. So you can hardly tell, but this is where the sand is. It's actually underneath a load of bedding. So what I'm going to do is take out all of this really dirty bedding and sift through the sand a bit and hopefully get out a lot of the poos and things like that. And then I'm going to top up the sand with some fresh sand, and I'm also going to scoop out some of this bedding that's got a lot of poop in it. I actually use this cat litter scoop to do this. I just find it an easy way to do it. In case you were wondering what I use for the sand bath, it's actually just a takeaway container. I think this is from a Chinese or something like that, but I just think that's a really good way to keep your sand. So I'm now going to fill up the sand. I just top it up. I use the desert sand from Pets at Home, and then I just have this little scoop which I'm just going to scoop the sand in. I'm going to top up the bedding just a teeny bit because I've taken out like a bag full of dirty bedding. I use the KT Clean and Cozy bedding, and I'm just going to put in a little extra bit of bedding. So what I'm going to do now is start putting back in the toys and things. So this is where the wheel is going to go, and this is where her coconut bed goes. So I'm going to leave this spot with nothing in it so I can put back that coconut for her. So I'm going to put in the wheel. I'm going to see if I can try out this in a slightly different position. This is just a wooden bendy bridge, a couple of cardboard tunnels or cardboard tubes. These are just a few different chew toys that she has, and a couple more. This is another tunnel, but this is wooden, and I'm going to put that underneath this like climbing frame. If you saw my hamster haul, I've got some new toys from Amazon and from Pets at Home. So I'm going to add in this banana for her. So I'm going to put this unicorn in her cage as well. So I'm going to sprinkle in some herbs now. So I literally do just sprinkle it in all over, and then they forage out the little bits that they like. So once I've sprinkled that everywhere, I'm going to put in this little bowl of seed mix, and as well as that, this is the mealworms. So I'm going to put in a couple of those. I'm going to use a scoop because I don't like touching them. I nearly forgot, the last thing I'm going to do is put in this whimsy chew. These are actually dog chews, but they're really good for hamsters' teeth, and my hamsters absolutely love them. I'm just going to pop this in a cage just anywhere. So the base of the cage is pretty much done. This is where the coconut is going to go. I'm going to give it a little wipe around the edges because it does get quite dusty, particularly here where the sand is, and I'm going to come back going through what I'm adding onto the lid of the cage. So this is the lid of the cage. The ladder's fallen off, it usually does. I'm not actually going to put this back until it's on the base because it just comes off all the time and it's quite annoying when you're trying to set up the top. So the main things that I'm going to be doing with the lid is I'm going to be replacing that little hanging bed with this little platform, and I'm going to add back in this big hammock. I'm also going to add in this wooden garland along the front of the cage, and I'm going to give her one of these chews as well. This is the treat stick flavoured with carrot and thyme. So I'm just going to add that on the side of the cage. These ones with the metal clasps are slightly harder to attach than the garlands, which just have those wooden hooks, but these do tend to last a lot longer. If you can see, I've got another one here. This one's like flowers and hearts. It's a really cute garland, and I've just got that in there as well. I'm going to attach this chew to the side of the cage over here, near to the bottom, so that she'll be able to reach it. And then there's just this little hanging swing thing. So I think that's it for now. So what I'm going to do is have a tidy up and then put the lid back on the cage, reassemble the whole cage, get some fresh water, things like that, and then I think this cage will be finished. So this is Petal's finished cage. I haven't put her back in it yet because I realised she's gone back asleep in her little coconut bed in the travel carrier. So I thought I'll just leave her until I've put this back on the shelf. No need to keep disturbing her. So this is the finished cage. So as you can see, up there is the sand. This is that bendy bridge that goes all the way across the cage. This is the little hanging platform. There are some roses back there. They're just paper roses in a little wicker basket. This is a climbing frame. There's some tubes, her food bowl, the hammock, some garlands, some other chew toys down there. So as I'm sure you can tell, Petal's cage is very, very busy. There's a lot going on. Before I knew much about hamsters, I would have thought that it was too cluttered. But the reason why it's important to have lots of hides, lots of tunnels and things like that in the cage is because hamsters are prey animals. So if you give them a big open space, they're going to feel very vulnerable and it might cause them to feel a bit stressed, and you don't want your hamster to be stressed. Hamsters can actually get really ill from stress if they are in a cage which is far too small for them. If they don't have enough enrichment, they can get really ill from stress. In Petal's cage, I've made sure to add in lots of different herbs for her to forage for enrichment. I've added lots of different chews. What I have personally found is if you are constantly switching up the things in the hamsters' cages every couple of weeks, personally I found that that's how my hamsters stay the happiest. They don't like having full cage cleans that often. Once a month, but keeping half of the same bedding is more than enough. They get really stressed out if they don't have their scent, but obviously you can clean out the wheeze and poos and things like that. But if you just add in those little extra things for enrichment, it really helps to keep your hamsters busy and keep them happy. And it's always really nice to watch them like looking around the cage, collecting all the herbs, bringing them back to their little food storage place that they've made. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you're looking for inspiration for how to set up your Alaska cage, I hope this helped. Let me know if you'd like to see any videos like this in future, and if you'd like to see any more videos of my other pets. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe down below because it helps me out so much, and hopefully I'll see you in a new video soon. Bye!